senator for New Mexico. I'm very confused. This is like a legislation thing, I suppose. That person is then like mixed in with, CEO of Anthropic. Like CEO of Anthropic should be right up there. And then of course, Scarlett Johansson. Literally, the qualification of that person is just actor. It's like one word. It just says actor. That gives a little bit of history. And the contribution is as a result of backlash due to a similarity in voice. That's literally their contribution. What else do we have here? Khan Academy, I guess. Schmidt Futures, Eric Schmidt. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Who else? We have different actors. No idea what contributions they've made to the field, other than take away from it. Some Bollywood actors. Again, no hate towards any of those people. Just criticism, not even to the people, but to the individuals who compiled this dogshit article. Now, who's next? CEO of Reddit, no idea what they've contributed to AI, except for the data that's told people to use glue to thicken their pasta sauce and then eat it. It's funny, by the way, because Google ingested some of that data, not understanding that was actually a joke, and then the output of that actually told people to thicken their pasta sauce if they wanted to thicken it with glue. And of course, the Business Insider, who was actually an outsider identifying as inside, decided, you know what? Since Elon didn't answer our question, or we were asking him a question at the summit because he doesn't take us seriously as a serious publication, because they really are not, we're going to actually make that sauce that was suggested as a joke by the AI and eat the glue. We're going to make glue sauce and eat it. That was their claim to fame. So I guess, Reddit did have a contribution here. I guess. I'm very confused. I'm like trying to make sense of this, right? I mean, like scrolling through all of this, none of this makes any fucking sense. Like if these people makes a lot of sense, right? You have like CEOs of various AI companies. This makes sense. But Theory Breton doesn't make sense. Fucking various actors really have done nothing to contribute to the ecosphere. Actually, as a matter of fact, their contribution has been a detractor of progress to the concept of AI itself. They're like an evolutionary break on the progress of AI. Now, of course, granted, I understand that if your likeness has been taken, and as such, now a company is making money off of that likeness without giving you money, that is a bit of an issue. I agree with that. I largely agree with that. If you want us to create slowdowns as a result of this, sure, 100%. But at least have a common decency to say, you know what? If you do some fucked up stuff with my voice as and use it for sexual purposes, we're going to have a problem. But if you want to use it for anything else, let me do it. That's how I would have done it. If somebody were to approach me and say, hey, you have a really interesting voice, you speak a lot on Spaces, you probably would be able to, narrate endless amounts of text. How about you voice our AI thing for us? You get a little commission for every single time it's being used, for every hours, whatever, whatnot. Here's your fucking contract. You get to print money for free. That's your kind of thing, right? I would say yes. Well, of course, there would be some conditions to this, of course, right? I wouldn't want my voice to be used for something that's really fucked up, obviously. Like, do I think it is interesting? Do I think it is good for my voice to verbalize fucked up ass outputs? Probably not, right? So we'll have to define what exactly is a fucked up ass output, what exactly is the conditions here, and if something like as a legal problem arises out of this because somebody's using my voice for some fucked up shit, then they're the ones who have liability and ought to pay me some money that alleviates the pain that the damages have caused, right? Legal agreement, perfectly fine. That's how I would have done it. That would have been a contribution. If she would have done that, that would have been a contribution. But I guess we didn't do that, so moving on, right? But what else do we have here? Like, what else? That's it. These are labeled under the AI thinkers section. Am I technically also a thinker? I mean, I had 8 to 10 hours. I had like a 42-hour space covering AI and things that power AI technology. Does that mean I'm also technically a contributor? I would even go so far as to say that the amount of information that I've output in the context of something that has something to do with AI far surpasses what any one of these people have output in terms of information. Right? So, I agree with that. Well. He's what he's, man. He's what he's. Excuse me.
I think they might be trying to give other people a chance, If Elon and Jensen and Sam A and Dario just have the trophy every year, then it doesn't give the other people a chance, right? So maybe that's their mentality,
I see what you did there.
I don't agree with it.
Are you saying that there is a bit of DEI that's like expressed in this magazine? Is that what you're saying? Because I think that's a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially people who have no marriage. Wouldn't you say that that's exactly what's happening there? It's almost like as if they're missing something, you know? Goddamn!
Wait, guys, I think Adrian might be onto something here.
Holy shit, you know? It's almost like as if this magazine is always politically fucking infiltrated and hijacked to somehow trying to, I don't know, be politically involved in some kind. Oh my god, man, fuck me. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm sorry. Must drink some water, you know? Must make sure to drink the government certified water, which is not actually filtered. And like I'm gonna drink this right now just to make sure that my cells are nice and hydrated so that I don't think of any dissident things. Drink the Kool-Aid. Must drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, there we go. All dissident thought gone. It's like a total fucking Alex Jones moment. Sorry about that. But like for real though, damn man, that is crazy. I love the fact that there is a person here who's replying to our stuff who's called Info Ears. That's great. I love that name. That's a great fucking screen name. Stick with that. That's just great. So it's like InfoWars, but it's ears instead. I guess I'll always have your ear. That's nice. Or like that person who I got in the PvP zone. We got in the PvP zone. We got Bro's ear.
Yeah, we got it here.
And that was kind of fun, you know? Diablo is one of the only games where you can confidently say without much added context. So you're a person who's like whopping around a lot of body parts in your inventory. It's kind of weird to say this, but it's legitimately the truth within the context of that video game.
Yeah, we got limbs and hearts and hands.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. Fucking. Yeah, dude. Insanity. That video game is insanity. Straight up. I know the ones like playing it fucking like a long time. But yeah, man, that's that. I kind of feel like I should more frequently take articles like this and just fucking roast them because it's like so next level entertaining. Just like see me dunk on that shit because I kind of feel like a lot of people would want this exact thing, you know?
Yes.
Goddamn. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who think that fucking Zuckerberg changed, I would like to remind you that this motherfucker made literally zero attempt to publicize the fact that the access of, the censorship demands have been actually met by them without any resistance. So, I digress. They continue to comply, effectively, right? So, X is like truly the last bastion of free speech, even though there are constantly detractors, or are false detractors, I believe, that constantly complain about something for no reason at all, saying, oh my god, there's censorship exists, my engagement is low. It's the fucking summer. Well, it's like the end of summer. People are going back into work. They're having a tough week because they have to readjust, and you're complaining about fucking engagement? Just because the news cycle is slow? Get a fucking grip on yourself. Jesus Christ. I have similar issues, you know? My engagement is also kind of down because, like, you know, I don't post much news anymore because there's not much news to post, and I don't want to post about fucking war crimes. I think everybody's seen enough of these things. They get amplified naturally enough as it is, and that's the only thing that anyone can post about. Like, right now the news cycle is Brazilian controversy, Tesla doing Tesla stuff, leading up to 1010 event, Ass has been released, Actually Smart Summit. That's been released, so that's kind of cool. We'll be breaking that one down on Sunday, by the way. Now, that's cool. That's all great. It exists. It's out there. Then there's Ukraine war crimes. People on both sides getting blown to bits by drones. Nobody wants to fucking see that shit, so I can't really post much of anything about that, and nor do I think many other people can post something about that as well, because who exactly falls in another person for straight fucking gore? I don't think so, because you don't want to see that shit. You know? War is brutal, war is fucked up, and so I don't think that's like an actual growth market, right? It's a fucked up situation. Of course, you know, many space hosts would disagree with that because they're the ones who've been covering the fucking Israel war, quote-unquote covering, not even actually being there or having any on-the-ground sources live in real time. They're just like basically republishing everything that legacy media has been scraping from the ground. But I mean, hey, cool, you know, it's all good. So, again, you know, complaining about engagement being low just because there's a slow news cycle and there's no politics for people to cover because they have like somewhat a sparse understanding of what's going on is really not an excuse to say, oh my god, there's censorship on the app. My shit's not getting seen. No. Just know. The people who would have otherwise been banned by Alexander de Moraes are here posting still to this day. Of course, you have limitations on this because of what has happened in Brazil locally, which is honestly terrible. But largely, you still have a chance. So I don't agree with the false, and I will say largely all of these people are false detractors from the platform's narrative of free speech. They're just destructive. There's like one person that tries to advise you on how to use the algorithm, and that's the only thing that they can post about, because literally anything else that they post, nobody gives a shit about. So they actually rely off the fact that you think there is a problem, even though there isn't one. To solve your problems, they could buy his dumbass fucking newsletter and just essentially sit there and waste your fucking money and time reading all this garbage. And it doesn't work, does it? On top of that, you then have people that try to dissect elements of the algorithm, then be fascinated by the fact that X has moderation tools, not even moderation tools, but has, a sorting system for content. Motherfucker, that's every algorithm. Every algorithm on every social media site is a sorting algorithm, and it has to be a sorting algorithm. Otherwise, some content is not sorted in some other content's niche. That's how the fucking shit works. That's why your platform has a great experience to it. That's why your For You feed actually works. They don't understand this because they're not programmers. They don't know jack shit. They're the same people who then fucking turn around and instantly hate on Cybertruck having some sort of issue as a result of being mistreated and having a crack at the... Damn, man, everybody turned into a metallurgy expert. First, everyone's like fucking going straight in on algorithm stuff, and then everybody turned into a metallurgy expert. Like, excuse me, you don't know jack shit about anything, and it appears that the only thing that you're doing right now, the only reason why you're a detractor to the functionality of a platform is the result of you hating on Elon Musk. There's literally no substance to anything you say. Like, that's just the thing, I'm just saying it, right? Like the false detractors claiming there's like next level censorship on X.com, bro. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Maybe if you complained less, people would actually read your post because the shit that you're doing is boring as fuck, man. Holy Christ. And it gets funny because, you have certain systems built into every algorithm where it is said, don't do these things. Don't post like a bot. Don't spam. It is obvious, right? I mean, who would do this? Would you like go up to a person in public and go at them and say, hey, look, what's up? Like go next to them in a fucking restaurant, like do that next to their ear for fucking 5 times. Bro's gonna knock you out 100%, no matter who it is, right? That shit gonna happen. And I imagine you're trying to do this with the algorithm by like quote posting incessantly saying, we're going to prove that there's censorship here by doing exactly what we shouldn't do to get our shit censored. Let's go. Fuck you. Like, come on, man. You're going to like waste your time doing that, or you're going to do something that's actually productive? Because holy fuck, man, you're embarrassing yourself. That's crazy, man. Then engagement keeps falling even beyond that because holy fucking Christ, dude. Shit. Oh, delicious. This is good stuff. Nice. Nom 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 nom.
Nom nom.
What is this? Oh, nice. Yasu Sharma has fucking few imposters. That's hilarious. I too. I feel your pain. I feel your struggles. God damn. Largely the personator problem has stopped, except that there's now personators on fucking Clubhouse. Like, who still even uses Clubhouse? I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not using Clubhouse. I would never fucking use Clubhouse. So if you see a person on there that's pretending to be me, if any one of you uses Clubhouse, again, I'm not hating you guys for it. I'm just saying, that's not me. That's a fucking scam. Block them. I don't know who the fuck that is. And the fact that Clubhouse itself is not doing anything about it is kind of fucking stupid and kind of shows you exactly what's wrong with their company. But I guess, it's what it is, right? Yeah, kind of funny.
It's me, nigga.
What are these questions? You gave some really odd, questionable questions, ironically questionable questions. Dude, hilarious. questioning reality is fun. Yes, I highly agree. To a certain extent, of course, I think there's like a threshold for the ability for you to question certain things. By the way, the space with the People Afraid from Rumble is a legal guy for Rumble. We will move that one to tomorrow, I think 9 p.m. Eastern as well. We'll have to check back on DMs with him. He has like a busy schedule. Bro's like next level busy, man. Like honestly, everybody tries to poke at him from different fucking corners of everything. So man, shit happens. It's fucking insane. So yeah, man. Let me see. Hang on. Hey, you guys actually messaging me, huh? Nice.
Dennis Kasabis posted that excited to announce Alpha Proteo, our breakthrough AI system for designing novel proteins that bind to a target molecule or protein. It has the potential to accelerate our understanding of biology and aid the discovery of new drugs, the development of biosensors, and much more. And that was he quote posted at Google DeepMind post. We're presenting Alpha Proteo, an AI system for designing novel proteins that bind more successfully to target molecules. That's wild. Yeah, like in the next 10 years, we will have new categories of drugs and new categories of cures for, I think, top 10 diseases.
Yeah, I wonder which diseases those would be, because I largely believe in the best cure is prevention in the first place, and I think a lot of the most common diseases are actually the ones that are not chronic in nature and are self-inflicted as a result of shitty food brought about by garbage laws, garbage legislation. And I have no holding back saying that's garbage legislation, because, I mean, look, if it apparently does work successfully and everything is perfectly fine, why are metabolic diseases at an all-time high? Your science is working against you. It's obvious. But hey, I digress. It's like, it's probably just coincidence, right? I think it's totally coincidence, right? But I mean, hey, even now, there are papers coming out to effectively adjust the false correction that's been brought out by a few previous papers that attempted to correct the papers before those, and they tend to now go back to what we once understood to be true about the world, about diet, and of how our body functions in response to certain compounds that we ingest. So, just saying, I mean, look, disease cures are all cool and such, but the cure is technically already here, but the cause is not going away. The cause is artificial. You are consuming various types of compounds, all of which are carcinogenic in nature. Your fucking artificial sweeteners, your preservatives, your coloring, food coloring, all of it's garbage. Even worse still, they have like this thing where sometimes they put a type of glitter into drinks and such. You got microplastics everywhere. This is infiltrating your fucking biological system and causing God knows what else problems, right? This is not even fully understood yet, which is wild to me. right?
Yeah, but like not everything is simply avoidable, though. You know, like for example, you buy berries at your like superstore. I mean, a store like supermarket, and then you think that it's organic, and then it may be organic, but it might have been grown beside the busy highway or something. You know, like in Mexico. Or
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There is no proper regulation around this. That's the issue.
Hard to prevent, though.
Hard to prevent, but not impossible to prevent. Like, who needs this insane amount of corn that's turned into syrup? Nobody needs that shit. That should be illegal. Who the fuck needs that? You can turn that into biofuel. Go for it. That's fucking it, man. If you can turn that into biofuel, which is probably what was its initial intended purpose, go for it, man. No one's stopping you. Do it. Do it. Find a use for it. That's actually kind of cool. But for human consumption? Fuck no. But again, all these compounds cause issues within your body. And then, even drinking water from plastic bottles has the same problem, because the PET, the stuff that effectively contains the water, the container itself, which is the bottle of water, leaches into the water substance which keeps the polymer, which is the plastic, polymer-like, flexible. To counter this, a particular additional compound is added that, quote, cancels it out, even though both compounds still remain chemically unchanged in the same solution that you are now ingesting. Like, have you ever wondered why certain types of water from a plastic water bottle taste slightly sweet? That's because there is the precursor compound to ACE K, which is the artificial sweetener in something like Diet Coke, for instance. This is used as the, quote, counter compound to what is being leached out by the PET. This is also cancerous. This is also carcinogenic to certain doses, right? So you now drink this as well. That causes additional risk factor of cancer. People are promoting a lifestyle where you drink the Coke, the Diet Coke, which is ironically worse than the one with sugar in it. And I don't mean the one with the syrup in it. I mean the one from Mexico, which actually still has actual sugar in it, is actually less bad, even though it's causing a lot of damages there, obesity and whatnot, than the stuff that you're drinking in the form of the, quote, Diet Coke, which is healthier. Because you have more cancer-causing compounds inside of this one can that you're drinking. To the point where actually the individual compounds themselves are measured to the point where it's like, okay, if you drink this much of a volume, you have the daily intake value of this compound, you should be fine. Problem is, how it is not measured is in connection with all the other compounds that have a similar effect. So you're combining the compounds, which are all individually safe to consume to certain levels, with each other, and as such lead to a point where it's technically almost under, but also sometimes above what you should be consuming every day, right? This, then of course, in connection with all the vegetable oils that you eat, with all of the sugars that you consume thereafter, now turbocharges any cancer that has now been aided by all the previous compounds. Because that's how cancer develops, by the way. It's a very simple fucking process. It's a terrible thing. It's an absolutely fucking terrible thing. So that's why, I mean, look, it's nice if you have like a ability to cure certain diseases, but the major diseases, which are all of which are the ones that are caused by these types of compounds, are curable by getting rid of these types of foods and legislating things properly. But I digress. You know, everybody gets to make their choice. And I think the FDA at some point will probably study the effects of what they have input into the food supply more, you know, extensively. And maybe I'm wrong.
No,
But the statistics disagree.
Yeah, like, I mean, Coke is like this, like the burnt sugar is just nasty.
No, the whole fucking concept of Coke is disgusting. Like, it tastes nice for once, but if you're off of it for a while, you drink it again, you start to feel things. You start to feel your teeth are rougher, and the protective plaque that's on top of it has now been eroded away by the carbonic acid. I mean, look, people have these great videos where everyone's like, wow, this is so cool. They put fucking Coca-Cola on the back of their fucking bumper and it turns into chrome again. You know, that shit that you see happening to your bumper right now is going to happen to your fucking teeth. It's kind of how that works, no? So you have the sugary compound that is there already, now directly impacting your newly exposed teeth thanks to the high content of carbonic acid that is passing through your gullet, motherfucker. That shit's crazy. I sound completely unhinged with this side of it, but that shit's like legitimately true. Everybody's got to stop drinking fucking Coca-Cola of any kind. Diet Coke, all of that shit. Throw it out, man. You gotta get rid of that shit. It's not worth the pleasure. It's not a good pleasure to have. It's fucking horrifying. Just get rid of it. Fucking throw it away. Out with it. Far away. Don't even touch it again. Don't even think about it. And it's like
It's actually really good to clear this up.
Opinion, but yeah.
It's really good to clear this up. I was really confused about this recently. It's like, okay, well, is it like okay to drink Diet Coke? Because I was thinking like, oh, well, if you just like avoid calories, then it's not so bad, right? And then you look at the actual ingredients on that thing. You look at the nutrition facts, and it says, oh, 0 calories, 0 sugar. How wonderful, right? Then you look at other things like maybe sodium or aspartame as one of the top ingredients, and you're like, what's this chemical? What's this other one that I can't pronounce, right? 3 chemicals that I can't pronounce are on here. Let's go search up what the side effects of those are. Oh shit, maybe this is bad for me, right? When you search that up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's another thing that's an issue with calorie counting, right? Because it's largely inaccurate from many different perspectives. It's like this delusion that comes alongside of like a food pyramid description of how things are apparently supposed to work, which are fundamentally false because it doesn't actually work this way. And you can say, okay, well, you have to agree with the new science, not the old science, but I tend to live by, the old science here. You can disagree with what my fucking standards are, but I feel fucking great. And I'm insane, obviously, right? But like, how am I able to power my existence based off of the stuff that's apparently supposed to, be counterintuitive for my existence? Like, how does it work that I, as a person, have like a higher type of a more effective metabolism and ability to process certain types of information because my brain is fucking lubricated, that's what it feels like, than anybody else by comparison? Like, how am I so fucking awake? How am I feeling so energetic all the time? What the fuck is going on there? Now, sure, of course, there's a little bit of caffeine that's at play in the context of the morning, which I think, it's a great thing. It's a nice thing that I do myself if I haven't slept in a while. Then, of course, I drink that as well, right? But that fades off during the day, and I drink a lot of water, as a matter of fact, as well, because I need to flush the caffeine out of my system so that the body doesn't feel like, oh my God, help me, I mean, I'm dying, I need fucking water, God damn it. That kind of shit happens,
Caffeine is incredible for the liver. Liver loves everything bitter, and caffeine, like being bitter, it's just like, there's some studies I was reading that it improves the liver function.
Of course, it's great, but I'm just saying, don't overdo that as well. I'm just saying that's like a part of the thing to kind of like illustrate, all the context here. Like, I'm trying to be as rich in my context as I can possibly be because I don't want to present any types of false information. And if you have kind of an issue with me, this is an open format, this is an open conversation. You have literally a fucking chat that's below the Spaces interface. If you feel like you have the need to publicly disprove what it is that I'm saying, you are most inclined. Hey, can you guys hear me? So a little cutout here. It's working?
Yeah.
Good mic check. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is if you feel so inclined to, publicly voice your disapproval of these opinions, and if you actually find actual scientific evidence to back this up and present it in such a way that's actually kindly stated, don't be an offensive piece of shit and try to rub things into people's faces, that's not how things work, then I'm actually willing to hear you out on it, maybe even elaborate as to why I believe that certain things that are, circulated by, elements of various nutritional magazines are completely and fundamentally false. I mean, look, if you want an example as to how these people live their lives, I mean, I'd highly invite you to look at the person who wrote the article and look at their health status and say, is that something that I want for myself? Are they preaching what they say? Look at all the health specialists, right? I think legitimately, these people may even practice a lot of the things that they preach. And I think it's absolutely great because you can see the merit to their own statements. And, their health status isn't something that I personally wish to identify myself with. Everybody has a different kind of opinion on how health is supposed to work out. Personally, if I look at that, I think to myself, this is not something I want for myself. So I get to express myself through my own fucking identity differently through science and, all the ability that it heals me. You know, it's fucking, that's how it works. You got a problem with that? You're just being discriminatory against my particular form of identification, bro. Like, fuck it off. Like, excuse me, hello. I don't. Yeah. You get to identify as whatever you want to be. I get to too. You get to respect that shit. Like, you're using this whole argument against itself. Oh, wow. Oh. Yeah, fucking cyber. It's like, there's like a small chance that the connection may break down. Is everything still working? Like, can you guys still hear everything I'm saying?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting and slightly heated space about nutritional things. I've like read into this a lot, man. It's insane. You can probably tell. It's like this has always been like a highly contentious conversation for many people to have, even within my own friend circles, because people genuinely don't believe anything anymore, but they believe in all the wrong things. It's like confusion has been leveraged. That's I think it's very deconstructive for themselves personally. I'm not about how they live their lives. Everybody gets to make their own decision, as I do my own too, right? They don't. They get to do whatever they want, but they don't have to domain over me, right? It's like how everybody should live their lives, and it's fucking awesome. Goddamn, what the hell is this? What the fuck is this? I just read that screen names that people have are absolutely fucking incredible. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's some posts out here that like really be wilding. By the way, Elliot, what's happening on your end today?
Yeah, just some busy school stuff, man. Semester's kicking in, you know. It's hectic.
Yeah, I bet. Why did you even do that in the first place?
Do what?
Like, get into school, like, what do you learn it for? Yeah.
Well, this is my second year of university, right? So it's like kind of carrying on from the first one, which there wasn't very much going for me. So now it's kind of just like continuing that. But I mean, like I'm studying computer science right now, right? So it's like it's not too bad, but it's more so just like the other classes, like English and stuff, and all these like stupid boring ones that aren't fun. Right? Yeah, that's
Interesting, yeah.
That's mainly where it is. But yeah, good to stay busy. I can't hear him talk. I'm gonna drop and come back.
Yeah. Because I've been like wondering, like, what is there left to do? What is there left to learn for someone like you? So, yeah, man. Crazy stuff.
There's lots to learn.
There we go. I hear him now.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, dude, lots to learn. I mean, like, I could probably just go learn it on my own, but when you're in a classroom,
My second year of university, right?
other people who are also motivated to learn about the same topic, right? There's like a lot of other things that you get other than just like intake of information. So that's like mainly why I go. It's also the routine too. Like when you can consistently get up at the same time every morning, and you get you know how much energy you're going to be like you're going to spawn in with during the day. It really helps you kind of lock in, you know.
Yeah. You're going to hear a lot of weird car sounds in the background, just FYI, because I'm on the road. So occasionally occasional breakdown of internet connection is also entirely plausible, so just like a little FYI ahead of time there. So yeah, should be fun, should be interesting again. I don't like traveling while doing a show, but I could.
Sorry, Elon. You got boring. You got the best of you, I think.
So that was my little bit of a read up.
It's what? It's finished. Oh. Not finished? How old are you?
She is. Have you seen her photo?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm sorry, Tyler. I'm sorry. So,
He's fucking ignorant. That's what it is.
nobody here is going to support you with that all the time.
I mean, you're a fuck if you think what I look like. You can shut your fucking mouth and show some more respect. A fucking creepy ass, rolling ass, fucking nobody.
Why would you talk to your mother that way?
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna go.
I think Heron has been hijacked by his language machine.
Hi, Adrian. Hold on.
Hey, how's it going? I've been enjoying your Alan Watts, rooms. Been great.
Oh, good. Alan Watts, he's my man. He's the guy that woke me up.
Yeah, he's really timeless. It's incredible how in 2024 he's more relevant today than maybe back even in like the 60s and 70s. It seems like his message today is more needed than even then.
Yeah. Although it's interesting, I still love listening to him, but I criticize some of the way some of his stuff is just really. There's better ways to talk about it. But still, it's all good, even when it's not as good as it could be.
I was doing a Zazen class one time with this Buddhist monastery, and they had this VIP speaker from San Francisco who was like this real estate bigwig, like a very successful developer. And then I guess the rishi or the teacher said, "Does anyone have any questions, for this guy?" So I said, what has your been experience? What have your experiences been with Alan Watts and Zen? And then immediately the rishi or the guy who was conducting the thing and asked for the question said, "No, no, 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 no. We're not discussing Alan Watts." And so then the real estate developer was like, "Hold on a second. Like, I actually have an Alan Watts story I want to share. It's funny you asked that question." So then he went on to talk about how he met Alan in San Francisco. And it was like the craziest story you've ever heard. It was very funny. And the guy was like a totally enlightened being. And yeah, it was just incredible how it all worked out. Then they, quickly went to the next question, but I thought it was amazing how the connections with Watts. I mean, the name itself, Watts. It's electricity.
Yeah. There's another guy. There's a guy named Alan Watt.
Yeah.
Who's it's not. So
On YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has nothing to do with the stuff that Watts.
Do you know how many hundreds of thousands of followers, though, that guy, maybe even millions of followers, that guy has gotten because of the name association?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Does he have millions of followers? Is he some big deal or what? I don't know.
I could look it up, but it doesn't
I
matter.
don't really care, actually.
I know.
It doesn't make any difference.
I know.
Because
But
Alan Watts, yeah, it's there for anybody who wants to listen to it.
yeah, I was with this beautiful chick in Texas, and we were in her beautiful house on her couch, and I was like, "Oh, you got to hear this guy. He's incredible." I started playing Alan, and she's like, "Ugh, I don't want to listen to that anymore." I was like, "Whoa, you fucking bitch."
Yeah, it's not for everybody. Yeah, it makes some people nervous. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that kind of talk.
Yeah, I think because they're so highly conditioned on their conditioning that.
Well, yeah, it threatens they've got a story about who they are, and it's fragile. And Alan Watts calls all that into question, so that makes people uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Unless you're looking for the way out or something, then it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle turned me on to Watts, and one time,
How old were you?
probably 8th grade. The first book
Oh, wow.
first book I bought was the book, and then I bought.
Oh, that's the best one too. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, there were and I wasn't even using any intoxicants or anything, no drugs. I was just a young person. But when I read that book, I had like a tingling sensation throughout my whole body. Yeah, it was like this. It was like Kundalini. It's like pure Kundalini. It's freshman in high school, maybe.
Wow. So that was life changing for you. I mean, did that open up something that was new in your life?
It's so confusing then, it's like, it's all this new information, and it's just, you can't really understand it without comparative analysis or without relativity. Like it depends
on each person. In my case, it happened when I was 21, so it wasn't a whole new thing. But basically, I had this blinding realization that I didn't know anything, that I didn't know who I was, what I was doing here, what I could do. The whole story of my life just evaporated in about 5 seconds as I was reading a book of his, and I never recovered from that. I mean, from that moment on, it's been my old life was gone in 5 seconds. And I wasn't even looking for it. I mean, at that time, I was interested in sex, girls, TV, marijuana, and cars.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was interested in. And this book fell into my life, and I never recovered from it.
I've listened to a lot of Ram Dass YouTube lectures, and there are times when I listen to Ram Dass where I'm just like, holy fuck, like this guy is beyond profound. Like he was great friends with Alan, and Alan told him, he's like, you're so based on the non-material that it's to your detriment, Ram. He's like, you're killing yourself, like get back into the material world. You're too anti-material. And that's the thing about all this wisdom, is it should result in material powers, or at least material control to a certain extent.
I'm always skeptical of the word should. I think each of us makes those decisions for ourselves.
No, what I'm saying, I'm not saying it's like a get rich quick thing. What I'm trying to say is that it should just help you deal with your everyday problems.
Well, yeah, that would be nice. Well, but again, I don't know. choices, and they make their choices based upon whatever. I assume it's Bob looking through everybody's eyes. And if I don't understand what they're doing or why they're doing it, it's okay.
Well, I regularly go into this Christian room on this app, and I say, I challenge anyone here to tell us the good news of the gospel in one sentence. No one can do it. No one.
So why do you go there?
Because it's kind of like what you said. Bob is experiencing himself through our
Yeah,
visions.
just going in there to tweet. That's good. Just to, poke them a little bit. You never know. And when it might work on somebody.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing it because like I'm creating content, but I'm also like a self-actualization hypnotist essentially, and that's kind of what I've realized about Alan is that he was really a public speaker, aka, all his lectures. He didn't get to benefit from his lectures financially in the way that it's probably monetized now. But even now,
Well, he lived. He didn't get rich, but he lived well, traveled all over the world, and had wonderful time.
well, what I'm saying is he couldn't capture it in the way that a lot of these be here now gurus do now. Like Eckhart Tolle really commodified.
No, that's a different world, though. Yeah, it's just a whole different world now. Yeah. Alan Watts died. He's 73, so that was a long time ago. It's 50 years ago. It's hard to believe.
The thing is, when you listen to him, it's almost also like listening to somebody from a couple hundred years in the past because of our English language, our American English. It's like listening to a Victorian Shakespearean theater actor, and I think that is one of the allures to listening to him because he does have such a relaxing voice.
Yeah, it's sort of sophisticated, easy. No, I've heard all of his lectures many, many times. Like I say, he's the single most important person in my life. His book brought me into existence, really.
Have you read his autobiography, In My Own Way?
Oh, yeah, I've read all of his stuff.
Yeah, he was living in Chicago. He had no job. And so this was how he wrote a resume. He just wrote a list of all the books he's ever read and then presented that to the bishop in Evanston and was like, can you get me a job? And he was like, oh, absolutely. You've read all these books? He's like, yes, I've actually published a book on Zen. He was accomplished even at a young age because his first book to the Buddhist Lodge in London got published. So I've spent... Have you read R.H. Blythe? So Alan refers to R.H. Blythe quite often, and Blythe went to Japan and translated all the Japanese Zen documents into English, and it's called Zen and Zen Classics by R.H. Blythe. And when you read this, you're like, oh, like this is so good. And Alan really just amalgamated and incorporated so much into his lectures and his writings. It's just kind of interesting how there's nothing original, that like we draw from all these sources to create our own originality.
Yeah, we add a little phrase here and there, so we're cleaning it up.
Well, it's like we add the production, meaning that like if you're a public speaker and you create videos, video technology has only been around since like 1920s, 30s. Like this type of communication.
It hasn't really, it's only been the last decade that it's available to everybody to produce.
It's truly, liberation is like a double-edged sword. It can imprison you, or it can help liberate you. And
that's not, if it imprisons you, that ain't liberation.
Well, I was at the bar and I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, you know what a good analogy for the cell phone is? It's like the genie in the bottle. You're the genie and you got out of your cell phone and it's constantly trying to trap you back in it. So, I mean, have you seen people who are just hunched over looking at their phone? They look like they're dried out.
I'm concerned with is that there's a deeper problem, and it's that people are identified, not their phones, they're identified with the voice in their head. They think the voice in their head is something that they are doing. They think that's them doing that voice in their head. And it's the realization that the voice in your head is just your language machine. It frees you from that. Because most people are literally stuck in the voice. They think that's me. That's me doing this. It's me that's talking right now.
Yeah. The voice, though, is activated by the environment. And, Watts likes to say organism, environment, organism. And so.
Yeah, it's all part of it. There's no beginning place anywhere. It's all integrated. But nevertheless, the voice is there. And however it came to be what it is, it's certainly not I. It's something that's happening to me. It's not something I am doing. How I can put myself in a position where I am doing it, but that requires some effort and some training because most people are not trained that way.
So I do mantras to try to still the voice and nullify it. And so I was like, every word is a mantra, and I was like, okay, let's do the word God and do a mantra. So I was like, go, God, go.
Listen, any sequence of phonemes occupies your language machine, so it can't be doing other shit. That's the whole point of a mantra. It ties up your language machine. And if you're going Uji Dama or something, you can't simultaneously be saying, I think I'm going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch. Because your language machine is occupied with a mantra. That's the power of a mantra.
So the word God, though, means go. And then if you inverse it, you get dog, and that means do. Go, do. Do, go. Go, do. And
well, if you want to play that game, that's fine. But that's all in the language game. I use it to get out of the language.
No, but what I'm saying is the do is not language anymore, meaning that the action or the karma is the nullification of the chronic speaker.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're using words that have some meaning for you, but they don't map on my language.
Meaning that the mantram or the mantra or the silencing of the mind, you don't necessarily have to do anything, but what I'm saying is if you do take action and you do, that's like basically not speaking. And so a lot of people say, was there a point in human history where everybody spoke the same language, Tower of Babel type of theory?
Yeah.
But my point is everyone already speaks the same language right now, meaning that like what Watts says, which is he calls it the direct pointing method, which is, if I say water, you don't get wet. And so our minds are so powerful that these words, it's almost like reality.
This is what I've spent the last 40 years studying language, its influence on all this stuff and how it all works together. So I know what you're talking about.
No, I know you do, but so I bought books on mass communication theory and, like academic college books on mass communication theory. And, there's so many breakdowns to communication theory and so many words that these, professors, et cetera, talk about. But when you look at it, in terms of politics or business communication, having this awareness of really neural implants through words that, it's just, if you're not aware of it, you're not aware of it. But once you're aware of it, it's a game. But for me, the whole thing deals with anger management, meaning that like.
Well, for you, okay, that's good. Yeah, I used to have a lot of anger too for a long time. That's pretty much gone now. But yeah, I have a lot of anger up to my mid-40s, I think.
Yeah.
Even after.
I mean, I just talked to my mom, and she's like, I need to tell you something. I need to give you some advice. It's like the worst advice you could possibly imagine. Like go outside,
Let me tell you something. Your mother is a brain damaged language mother. She loves you. That's the best you can come up with.
I know.
That's it.
I know.
And he loves you. And be grateful she's still around for you to love.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of crazy how love comes out. Because I don't know, she's like playing the devil's advocate, and challenges
Yeah,
you.
listen, she's doing her thing. She was brought up by her parents in another universe.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
she's got a story in her head about what the universe is and what's important and what's not, blah, blah, blah. And it's way out of date. So, well, I don't know her, but in any case, she's doing the best she can. It's not enough. She's
No, I know.
damaged language monkey. My mother was too. I hated my mother for a long time. It took me years after she died for me to realize that she did the best she could.
Right.
It wasn't very good, but it was the best. And I can't complain. I'm still here. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I've been watching a lot of bird videos, and when I watch bird videos, that to me is like the Zen understanding of life, where these, this language machine is fucking us over in so many ways. It's just like, if you really were able to analyze your memory and think about all the unnecessary communication you've had in your life and all the frustrating communication, you're like, fuck, man, I should just be like a bird.
well, you can. That's how you meditate.
Yeah. It's amazing when
How old are you?
41.
Okay, 41. And how long have you been meditating?
I guess 2000 and fuck, what year would that be? 2010 maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so a decade, more than a decade.
Yeah.
And you twice a day, once a day, every day?
Yeah, twice a day, yeah.
Okay, and you use a mantra.
I do mantra and I do yoga in the sun. Yeah.
Okay, well, yoga. Okay, I do yoga too. That's another kind of meditation.
Right.
But yeah. All right. Well, good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're just going on your path.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld, he wrote a book called This Is It, and he's like a big TM, transcendental meditation practitioner.
Yeah.
And same with that guy that did that movie Dune, the director, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I like about Seinfeld is he doesn't use profanity in his comedy, and he's worth $1 billion because there's no profanity. It's so if you choose your words wisely, it's always to your benefit. Bad language makes for bad feelings.
Well, I get no quarrel with that. I don't have any particular.
I mean, it's kind of a joke because that's what RoboCop said. But
yeah, I've said it. Yeah, I mean, it's not very effective. I think occasionally it can be very effective, but normally it's just lack of linguistic skill.
Right. So, I mean, I've been on your Gendo site. I was like blown away with your huge amount of wisdom, your wisdom list that I guess you've been collecting, and that was an awesome read. I was going to turn it into an audiobook for you, but then I guess I never did it.
Listen, I didn't hear any of that. I was in another room. I was yelling, wait. So say that again.
I said I was on your website maybe like a year ago reading all your wisdom stuff on the Gendo.
Oh, that stuff. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
I was going to turn it into an audiobook for you, but I never did it.
An audio, just, that's why I'd have something read it and record it.
Yeah.
That'd be easy to do, wouldn't it? That's trivial.
You should do it. I mean, put it on YouTube.
I'll wait for you.
I mean, it's just opportunity cost. It's like, do I want to read that or do I want to read a book? I got so many books in my house. It's like I'd never.
Oh, no, that's not meant to be read. That's sort of like an e-cheat. You just open it up and just randomly look and see what pops out at it.
Well,
That's the way
I've been recording the Tao Te Ching for a while, and I Ching, Tao Te Ching, Dhammapada by Buddha. Have you read the Dhammapada? So that's Gautama Buddha's, or the writings or the teachings of Gautama Buddha, and it's incredible. It's called Dhammapada.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that stuff. My bibliography is fairly broad, also, but I don't describe. Yeah, just because something's old doesn't really interest me.
Well, it's like a direct transmission of wisdom. I mean, don't knock it till you try it.
Well, but that wisdom can be directly directed at somebody today. It doesn't have to be done 3,000 years ago.
No, it's
I don't know.
it's totally relevant. I'm just telling you, man, from somebody who likes Alan Watts, if you haven't read Dhammapada, it's very short and very succinct.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no, it's probably a PDF easily available somewhere, I would imagine. And how is it spelled?
Dhamma, Dhamma. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
You can just go on YouTube and listen to the audiobook. There's people that have recorded it a gazillion times.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
I should have. And this is based, I mean, he didn't write anything, so this is, like the gospel sort of thing. It's people after him wrote this stuff down, claiming that he said all this stuff.
I don't know if that's how they frame it, like as in the Gospels. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, Buddha, Gautama didn't write anything. Other people who were around him wrote down stuff about him.
Sure.
But he didn't write anything.
Sure.
So anyway, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I could get you the. Anyways, you'll find it on YouTube real quick. But then the other document,
Okay, yeah.
look up. It's called the Shin Shin Ming.
Yeah.
It's the Faith Mind or Perfect Mind, and that one's incredible. It's just one document. It's not a book. And one of the verses says, "The more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get."
Yeah, well, that's if you don't know how to think, that's true. That's not always true. That's true for 99% of people. But once you've extricated yourself from the language machine, then thinking isn't necessarily a problem. It can be actually useful at times.
No, yeah. But I mean, have you ever caught yourself having so many thoughts where you're like, wow, this is totally unnecessary?
Oh, well, listen, I spent the last 50 years exploring meditation and language. And, have you looked at my bibliography? It's pinned to the thing above.
Let me see.
So,
This is pretty cool. Let me see here.
actually, the thing is, I'm really not searching for anything anymore. At least not in the so-called spiritual realm.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for
I get it. So I have so many books, and it's like, oh wow, this is great.
Well, it's good to have a lot of books. I read a lot. I probably read between 4 and 6 hours almost every day for more than 40 years.
Whoa.
That was what I did, and that was a real good thing for me to do. But I sort of did that, and I'm doing something a little bit different now. I've got a story that I'm comfortable with. I don't feel I need to change it all that much unless something happens and I need to. But the story works. So now I'm more about like doing something in the world, getting some information out, and having some impact.
Yeah. This one book is called Emergence, The Connected Lives of Ants by Stephen Johnson. And I've been recently killing ants on my property, and I bought a bunch of books on ants because I was just so amazed at how resilient they are and intelligent. And I'm just like, our perspective of not being like on the ground at their level. I mean, can you imagine ants like talking to each other, saying like, fuck, he's back.
I don't kill any insects anymore. I mean, I still do. But even ants, if I find an ant one, and when it's the summer, it's hot, the ants come in the house, it can't become a problem. And I found one. Anyway, I usually saw them have to sweep them off my arms. I found one on there, but now I blow them off.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to kill them, but they're like infesting the wooden structure, and I'm just like, I can't have them destroy it.
Yeah. Once you get then you can maintain a boundary, and they'll stay outside. Do out there, keep them out of places you don't want them.
Let's see here. Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. Yeah. Zen Beginner's Mind by Suzuki. That's a really Suzuki really puts out some really interesting stuff, and it's just amazing because he's so Japanese that when an American delves into what he's talking about, you're like, huh. It's Alan Watts, Psychotherapy East and West. Robert Anton Wilson. Yeah, Wilson. I heard I've heard some great things by him.
Yeah, Wilson's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
There's so many enlightened people floating around the planet these days.
So like the thing about the cannabis, I mean, I don't think I'll ever probably stop consuming. I mean, I'll limit my consumption, but in terms of like a Friday night, a Saturday night, I'm not married, I have no kids, but like if I ever do have a wife, like I would like to institute a ritual or a ceremony with her that includes alcohol and cannabis, for lovemaking and meditational practices. But Anton Wilson was talking about how he's like, cannabis is that one substance that I always seem to come back to, and it always seems to have the most resiliency of all the chemicals.
Well, interestingly, I quit smoking weed about 5 years ago after smoking weed basically every evening for the last 45 years.
Wow.
50 years. Because it just didn't do it. It didn't work for me anymore.
How do you feel, like your throat, your lungs, like how does all that years of smoking, do you feel healthy?
No, I didn't smoke it, but it didn't have much impact on me physically. I only took like 3 hits. Marijuana worked really great for me. My procedure was in the evenings when I was ready to do whatever I was doing. I'd take like 3 hits of some good weed, and that would get me through an evening of reading or art or music or whatever I was going to do. 3 good hits put me in a place that I really liked. My brain was like exploding with new ideas that I hadn't had before. It was great. And it did that for like 40 years. And that stopped.
Well, yeah, I know you think that we're going to go into like a golden age, or like we're getting very close to like some type of transformation. Have you seen the movie Dune, the old one or the new one with the Paul? What's like the author's name? So my point is, like, that has to do with like a messiah or a Kwisatz Haderach that they call it. Delivers the people. It's the whole liberation theology. So I'm just wondering, like, how.
I'm not a favor of that. I think what's happening is people have to wake up and realize I am the savior. There isn't anybody going to save us. We got to wake up.
Right.
It's us.
Right. Alan Watts has this one YouTube video on the Be Here Now network or whatever. It's called On Being God. So he gives a lecture for an hour, and then he says,
I know that.
And so at the very end, he goes, some of us are very keen to what Jesus was speaking about, and we don't talk about it lest we too be crucified. So, I mean, it just doesn't seem to me controversial anymore to have that conversation with, hey, guess what? But you are part of the Godhead, or you are the prima causa. And if we want to solve anything, and all these social cultural problems, it's like it's
all kind of come from us.
Yeah,
we gotta wake up.
Yeah,
the planet is what we made. This is what we made. And again, I think what we've got going got us here. It's been great, but the way we thought, our language, again, it's our language. We need to upgrade our operating systems. Basically, the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The system we've got has been around for a couple 100,000 years, and it's been great, but it is no longer adequate. We need to upgrade that system so that we can actually think. And that's not that difficult to do. The next 2 generations of kids, we can teach that.
I mean, they tried so hard in the 50s and the 60s. Like, do you know who Rudolf Steiner is?
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of his books, and he had his own educational curriculum and platform, and it's just that's gone. Nobody's thinking about that. That's gone.
Oh no, there's still places where we do, little one-up places.
No, but I'm talking about public school systems, like.
Oh yeah. No, these are all private. Same with Montessori. there's a whole bunch of alternative school systems out there, curriculum.
I mean, if you could do
that's
a
going to change. The AI is going to change all of that in the next 10 years completely. The education system will be irrelevant. Yeah, it's an exciting time, man.
So, to me, listening is a big thing in terms of meditation. And this app has been pretty unique in the sense that we go from like video, we're so hardcore programmed on video, movies and YouTube, but like you come on here, you can't, listening and speaking become the two commodities of exchange. And so many people are incapable of having a conversation because they're just always over talking each other. And that means that like no one's truly actually interested in listening. They're more
Yeah, they're
interested.
not here. They're not here for anything. I don't know why they're here. They seem to be being entertained or something. But they're all a bunch of brain damaged language monkeys, and I don't see any point in wasting a second in those rooms because you got 20 people on stage and everybody's talking at the same time. Well, that's a good place to observe insanity functioning, but nothing's going to happen. Consequence in that space.
Well, my point is the word Earth. The first three letters are ear, and I was at the Copernicus Center for the Polish Fest, and I was looking at his map of the solar system, and instead of Earth, he uses the word Terra. So then I started looking up all the world's languages and how they use the word Earth, like even
like Gaia.
yeah. Yeah, guy. Even, so in Hebrew, there's a prayer you're supposed to say every morning. It's called the Shema. And if you look at that word, she and ma, it's like, she and ma. I mean, those are two aspects of, it's the feminine. So gender. And anyways, I'm just saying that the word analysis this was the big thing I wanted to talk to you about was astrology. Because Watts says, hey, guess what? But you're the Earth. You're like, huh? How's that possible? But if you're the Earth, that also means you're the sun and the moon and Mars and Neptune. And so how does that type of interstellar communication or reframing or awareness play into your life? Many women, I get the feeling that they're like neo-pagan witches and they don't even know it, or or they actually are. But I get the feeling that astrology, and I've read a lot of books on astrology at this point. I'm not like some kind of master or anything, but I'm just saying I know that the secrets of psychology and the secrets of success are tied up in a lot of this mumbo jumbo astrology philosophy.
Yeah.
It's just like it's easy to forget it, and so there's reminders today. Oh, and I created some AI artwork today. There's this incredible app called Copilot. It's a Microsoft product. It's called DALL-E. So my command prompt was take the planet Saturn, create 10 arms surrounding it, put a giant eye in the middle, and then surround it with the moon and the sun. And man, the artwork that I'm creating using astrological command prompts, it's like, fuck, I can make a business out of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. AI is going to change everything. It's already put hundreds of thousands of commercial artists out of work.
I mean,
there used to be, people like Procter and Gamble hired thousands and thousands of artists to do their soup can labels, packaging stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And those people are all gone. 2 or 3 people with a good AI can do the work to thousands of humans.
Yeah. And even
and do a better job at it.
Even movies are going to change because you're not going to want to go sit in the theater. You're going to want to go write an essay or a command prompt and watch your own movie be created by an AI simulator.
Everything is going to change next decade. So it's almost pointless to predict because I think whatever I can predict is probably going to go past my wildest imagination. It's already happening in music. When I was in music in the early when digital music first got started, the first synthesizers shown up, the R2600 was the first commercial synthesizer. And I quit those. I quit that. I messed around with it for like a year and a half. I quit because I couldn't see them ever getting to what I wanted them to do. Anyway, it's like 2 years later, stuff was on the market that was so far beyond what my wildest imagination 2 years earlier was. I couldn't believe it. The new machines 2 years later just outstripped my imagination earlier. So that was humbling. I'm assuming that's really what we're facing. That the future is beyond anything we're going to be able to predict.
Yeah, the software is getting really, really good. I remember when I bought my first Google Android phone at a T-Mobile store, and it was basically a useless device, literally. And that was like in 2007, So, and I remember getting my first text message and being like, fuck this, I got to sit here and click this all these times to write this shit. And now it's like we're live streaming and everybody's live and connected real time through video and picture and word and sound. And there's no more barriers, but there still is like the Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is a failure to communicate. And that's the problem. So.
Well, but at least we can focus on the problem at hand.
So, but
that's what makes it a game changer. The next two generations of kids are going to change the world.
Well, Alan Watts, he talks about sensitivity training, which is like awareness training. And so unless these kids are doing yoga and calming their mind and realizing that they're going to get manipulated and gaslit by a propaganda system of commercialization and marketing, they don't stand a chance. Like, everybody's fucked.
That world is all fake. The world is collapsing. The world is programming them for that world is on its way out. Their chaos is coming. And they know it too. I think they know damn well that all the stories they've been told are bullshit. That ain't going to work out that way. They may not be happy or even recognize it consciously, but I think people know what's coming. I think we'll see. They're just not ready to face it squarely yet. Because it's not bad enough.
Yeah. Not bad enough over here, but if you're in a trench in Ukraine.
Real bad. First world, we can sit around and sip our lattes still.
Yeah. If you're lucky, 4 people just got executed down the street from my house here in Chicago. So it's like, okay, gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's coming. That's the thing. It's coming. Time is speeding up. There's more weird shit with more energy happening per units of time now, and it's accelerating.
Well,
between now and the election, who knows what game-changing events are going to happen in the next couple months.
Yeah, that's true. There's always these crazy gray swans, electric grid, stock market collapse, hurricane out your.
It's all sorts of shit. And if you just look at the last, for me, it was Trump's first, I guess that was the 16th. Wasn't that when, that was when Trump got elected. That shocked me into something. Is that the rate of change has hit a new level now.
Yeah, that's true.
Really accelerated. The United States may be gone in less than 10 years.
What was I reading today? Trump is claiming that if Jewish Democrats don't change their vote to him, he said Israel won't even exist in 4 years.
Really? He said that?
He said that. I was like, damn, that's an all or nothing statement.
That's a good one. Yeah, Trump is just stunning. Yeah.
He gave a speech. He gave a speech today at the New York Economic Club, and he called out Jamie Dimon from J.P. Morgan Chase. He says, "There's a lot of big banks here in this audience. Where's Jamie? Where's the biggest one of them all?"
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. See, I don't pay much attention to it. He's incapable of putting 3 or 4 sentences together coherently.
It's a rambling. Yeah, it's a rambling. You should have heard the speech today.
Yeah, well, no, I've heard one. You've heard one of his talks. You've heard all of them. They're all the same.
This one was a little different because he's like whispering, and he's whispering in the economic club, like to a dinner party.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, anyway, I have no interest in anything he has to say.
Well, this is the thing about.
That he's not going to be elected.
I don't think he's going to win. I think that Kamala's the fix.
No, she looks like she's got it going for her.
Yeah, she looks like she got it clinched.
I hope so. I mean, I never expected him to win the first time. I thought Hillary was going to win. I was sure. I was stunned when I woke up. Or that evening, I think it was clear. I mean, I just wasn't expecting that. So I'm still a little worried. It's not impossible.
Vladimir Putin endorsed Kamala Harris today on national television.
Putin did?
Yeah.
I wonder how much stuff is deep fake and how much stuff. Who knows? I don't. But the best thing is, any picture I see, any video I see, anything I see or hear, if it sounds too interesting, I think it's probably fake. I mean, most of the photos I see now, I don't trust, unless they're really boring. I don't trust them.
What do you think about Timothy Leary, with the tune in, turn out, drop out? I mean, just like disconnecting from all this bullshit completely.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's got I think that may be a phase. I think you have to disconnect, but I think it's not an all or nothing choice. I think at some point in your development, you may pick one or the other. I dropped out, but I'm in the process of dropping back in now.
That's what Alan Watts. That's what Watts said. He's like, I was talking to my friend, this famous therapist, psychologist. He's like, now I'm trying to connect with everybody again. So we're like constantly rotating, turning. It's a dance, and sometimes when he talks about politics. Yeah, Watts says politics is like sleeping. First you lay on your right, you get tired of that, then you roll on your back, then you roll on your left, then you roll on your stomach. He's like, life is a dance. And so there's this book I read by this guy named Dr. Paul Foster Case called The Keys of the Tarot. And at the end of the book, the last chapter, it says, congratulations, you are now a member of the secret order of the Lords of Saturn. And then, what was the big takeaway? What was my point? Oh, is that he says that your new secret name is Eternal Dancer. So it's just like Watts. I mean, all this esoteric mumbo jumbo is to the grand revelation that you're the Eternal Dancer. I call my uncle regularly, and he's like, why are you calling me? I was like, just to remind you that you're the Eternal Dancer. He's like, oh, thanks. That's a good reminder.
Yeah, it is. I call it Bob.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing. It's all good. I mean, there's a lot of charlatans, though. I don't get the feeling that Kamala is authentic. I get the feeling that she is going to...
She's a politician, just like all the rest of them. Listen, as I look at this election, it's a choice between jumping off a cliff or sliding down a ramp. I'm going to slide down the ramp.
Yeah, that's actually probably a better approach. But what do you think about censorship, though? Because, if you can't question a Pfizer product on YouTube, or a Moderna J&J product, and you can't question their products.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal. Depends on. Again, there's certain kinds of people who really are bad actors, and there are other people who are honest questioners. It's not always easy to tell the difference, and that's a challenge.
I mean, do you think there is a global conspiracy? Because I'm getting the feeling that there is like a specter organization.
I think there are multiple global conspiracies. In fact, anyone who thinks there's only one conspiracy is an idiot. There are hundreds of conspiracies.
Yeah.
Of groups, largely overlapping too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly, probably 100 they don't have to have meetings to know what's in their advantage. They know what works and what doesn't. But again, those people are human beings who are also beginning to wake up. In fact, they've got a better chance of waking up than the poor people because they've got the time, access to information. So that may be the way it works, is that they'll wake up and realize that it's time for a change.
Well, do you know that movie Clockwork Orange, when he goes into the jail and they do the MK Ultra on him, they start doing the eye drips and he's watching all these movies, but he rejects the programming because they play for him his wonderful Ludwig van Beethoven or whatever, because he was already conditioned on that music. Their MK Ultra programming his consciousness couldn't take it because he loved the music. If he never heard the music, it probably would have took, but because he knew it was already programmed. He was like, "You bastards!" He rejected it. So I just get the feeling that, I think his name is Bertrand Russell or something. He was giving a talk about how he thinks that science is going to invent a happy pill or a happy chemical, which I think is just like the metaphor for LSD or something. But even drugs don't seem to give the patient the happiness that they want, or constant happiness or stable happiness. But I get
what most people want is insane fantasy land bullshit happiness. It's just empty bullshit.
Yeah, but emptiness, as you know, Alan Watts talks about the nothing, and how nothing or emptiness creates something. And so what I'm saying is there's a philosophical educational problem in America, which is so chronic and everywhere, that without philosophy, or really the teachings of Alan Watts and the people and the information that he absorbed to synthesize his information, without really researching that, I don't get the feeling that anyone can ever achieve a state of happiness, or at least being able to explain the gospel in one fucking sentence.
Well, listen, I don't even give a shit whether anybody can explain that or whether everybody.
Well, it's the statement that eternal dancer. That's all I'm saying, is people can't get to the eternal dancer part of the book because they're not reading anything.
That's their choice. If in fact everything is the eternal dancer, there are no mistakes. The eternal dancer chooses to play that role out without realizing that it is. I mean, that's the whole game. So if it chooses to continue in the illusion, that's its choice. Grant them that ability and move on. There are other people who are ready for change.
Well, this is like the Buddha or the Bodhisattva returning to share the good news, to keep waking people up, because one of the maxims of Buddhism is I vow to awaken every sentient being as long as I can.
That's one thing if that's what you want to do. Listen, once you wake up, you can do any fucking thing you want to do. You're you. Do what the fuck you want to do. Wake everybody else up. Don't cut your toes off. I don't give a shit. Wake up. Whatever you do is up to you. Period.
I know, but by helping people wake up, you constantly remind yourself that, to wake up.
I'm not worried about waking up. I'm awake enough. I'm awake enough to, if I get more awake, that's great. I'll take it. I'm sure there are people who are more awake than me. I don't need to be any more awake than I am right now. I'll take it, but I ain't looking for it anymore. I got work to do.
Well, I mean, work is like play. If you can't make it play, then it's not really good work.
Well, of course. It's fun.
Do you wake up every morning feeling happy?
Absolutely, man. I am here to participate in the transformation of the planet. And the ability to wake up feeling that somehow I can be embedded in that process and part of it is energizing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're plugged into the universe, it is. That's what Watts talks about. It's like walking 3 feet off the ground.
Plugged into the universe. You can't not be plugged into the
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
experience.
that well then does that just become aesthetic then?
Well, no, there are lots of ways to look at it. There isn't any one truth here. There are multiple ways to view this thing on multiple levels. I see it as Earth itself is a living organism.
Yeah.
It's undergoing a metamorphosis of some sort, and that we can be seen as something like an embedded subsystem. Actually, something similar to the astrocytes in our own brain. We are participating in the construction of Earth's nervous system right now. We're sort of like the astrocytes of Earth's brain. We're building it for it. Anyway, that's not the truth. That's not the way it is. It's just the best story I've been able to come up with.
I do yoga in the sun every day, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And sometimes when I do yoga in the sun, I do visualizations where I'm like a seed in the sun, or I'm in the center of the earth, or when I do, a pose, I'm like trying to circulate energy between me and the earth. They're just fun visualizations.
Yeah.
And, when you look at all these ants, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm just an ant.
That's right. Oh, and not just Alex, I think we're significant. We are a significant subsystem, embedded subsystem of the living, developing Earth.
Yeah.
And like I say, we have something to do. We're building its brain. And it's virtually within the next 3 or 4 years, that brain is going to surpass all of humanity's abilities, and Earth may very well wake up.
Well, don't you think it's already awoke, but we're building this AI information network across the face of the earth?
I think it didn't have its brain. That's what we're doing. Just like a baby, they don't show up as an individual for about a year or more. When they come in, their large language model is programmed. So the minute they're brought in, people start, loading up parameters in their large language model. They're talking at them. And after a couple of years, it's loaded up enough, a self shows up.
So
that's what happens.
If the Earth is like a hive and we're wasps that will eventually expand and go multi...
Earth isn't like a hive. That's not what I'm saying. Earth itself is a living organism.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But what I'm saying is this living organism is like the Death Star. Meaning that it has airplanes in it that could fly out of it and go to other planets with these.
Got all sorts of stuff,
yeah. So like Watts says that maybe planets or Earths eventually explode and become stars, and that's where all the stars came from, or the opposite of that. But
I don't know. I've never heard Watts proclaim that.
He did. He said that. He said it's possible that the.
I don't care if he said it. That's a pretty dumb theory. I mean, it doesn't come.
Well, he was addressing the nuclear problem, and that's what Trump talks about a lot too, which is nuclear warming.
What nuclear problem? What are you talking about?
At the atom bomb.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Because he claims he made a statement once. He said maybe stars come about from Earth destroying themselves in nuclear war.
I don't know. Maybe somebody said that one. Maybe Alan said that's just
Alan said it's not like it means anything. He's just hypothesizing. But what I'm
whatever. So Alan probably had lots of passing stupid thoughts. I had passing stupid thoughts. I say things that I think afterwards, well, I was dumb.
Well, if the planet is alive, that means that the planet has a consciousness.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean that at all. That's your assumption. I don't know what it means.
Well, to some extent.
What Earth is.
I mean,
it's just an analogy. It's a story. I think I'm saying Earth is like that. Obviously, it's not really like a bear, or something. It's something unique, different in the universe that I can't possibly.
Yeah, it's celestially intelligent, though. I think for sure. There's no way that all this.
You've got all sorts of.
It's programming. It's definitely biomechanical engineering programming. I mean, it's programmed to operate, especially with the atmosphere and weather and the sun. I mean, everything is totally programmed so perfectly anyways, but my point is that in terms of like Earth consciousness versus solar consciousness versus galactic consciousness.
Yeah. Look, I don't care about that. I got it. That's probably the next phase. I'm just trying to get us through this one for Earth, getting up to the Earth level. Yeah, the next step, clearly Earth is nothing without the sun. Without the sun, there ain't nothing going on here. But I just want to deal with the Earth thing for now. The sun will deal with that next.
So, how do you view history versus the eternal now?
Like embryology, you can look at the way a single cell develops, goes through all these processes. In a sense, that's its history. And you can do the same thing for the planet. You can look at the changes it's been through over billions of years, talk about that on multiple levels. You can talk about just the human part of the last 10,000 years or so. History is, what do you mean by history?
Meaning that if there's only the now, and I have historical artifacts that I know that there is a chain of succession of progress or deprogress.
Listen. If you want to play that game and try to find the answers to all that stuff, good luck. I've played that game for years. I gave that one up.
What game?
I can't. There are a whole bunch of things I just accept as mysteries. I don't understand how they work or why they work or anything. I've got stories about it. I've heard other stories, but I'm tired of fucking around with them. I don't give a shit anymore.
Who? I can't. I didn't follow you. Who or what?
Stories about
history.
All about everything. About trying to understand what the universe is, who I am, who's looking through my eyes.
Right. So after you get through all the thoughts, what do you do? Just start playing music? Because that's what I basically, I observe people do the same thing. I knew a guy,
It's not like after I get through, okay, now I'm done with that. It's just about how I get up in the morning, all kinds of how I think, what I do with my time. I don't think about this kind of shit. I do very little abstract thinking. I do some because I'm still involved in some research and linguistics and stuff, but it's really pretty limited to very specific things. The rest of the time, I'm hanging out with my dogs. There ain't much going on in my language.
I bought this. I went on eBay and I typed in Alan Watts CDs, and this one guy who's a big fan of Watts, he made a lot of money in tech in Silicon Valley. He's passed away now, but it was called Centerpoint Research, and I have the CD, and he talks about Alan Watts and Buddhism and philosophical concepts, but then Centerpoint Research, I went to their website. He created some type of audio meditation technology, and I think it's just a sound or a recording, but it's to basically, I think, to try to relax you, and center you and use it as a meditational tool.
There's a bunch of stuff about audio stuff. There are half a dozen programs.
Right.
Audio things they're supposed to tune your brain.
Right. It's that I think it's a crock of shit, personally.
Well, whatever.
Because you can just do your own mantra. It's better to just do Om.
If you want to do it, if you want, let's say if people buy that shit, that's up to them.
Yeah.
Something out of it, maybe they won't. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. I know. Anyways, all right. Well, it's been fun as always, and I love talking to you, and I love hearing your Alan Watts stuff, because every time I hear Alan, I'm just always every time you hear it, you're just like, damn, everything he says is just so incredible that he's profound. And his influence on the culture and global culture, not just Americans, because I think a lot of people overseas listen to him, especially non-native English speakers. He's transforming people's lives with incredible philosophical information.
Yeah, it amazes me that it's still being listened to. Probably, he continues to spread his ideas. It's a good world.
Yeah, it's amazing too, because everybody, in Christian churches as well, they're so hungry for the spirit or for wisdom, that Alan is who they often quote in their sermons, because
Really?
Oh yeah, I've heard. I was very depressed once, and I knew this very wealthy guy who was like my business mentor post in college or whatever, and he sent me some, Protestant Baptist preachers CDs, from his church, and he starts talking about Alan Watts and the good wolf and the bad wolf and what we feed ourselves, and I was like, holy shit.
That's great. Well, it's good. Yeah, that's why I'm so optimistic. I think the world is waking up.
Yeah, it's very true. I think I just worry, like I look at a family member of mine or I look at people that I meet and I'm just like, damn, these people aren't getting Alan Watts.
No, listen, most of the people are still joining the caterpillar business, and that's their job. The old order is collapsing, but it needs to be maintained. It's like when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. A lot of the cells are committed to maintaining the caterpillar while some other cells are building the butterfly.
Yeah, that's true.
So you just have to, don't worry about it. Some people are ready to change. A lot of people aren't. And so if they're not ready, if you don't see a clear sign that they're interested, thank them politely and move on.
Yeah.
Because there are people who have questions and are beginning to, wonder about things. And those are the ones you want to give your time to.
It's amazing how, there's all these black and white rooms on this app or black rooms or whatever, but it does seem amazing to me how white Americans and black Americans are somehow like bound or binded in time and history and culture. And yet they're so radically different, but together it's, like Marcus Aurelius says, it's like we have upper eyelids, lower eyelids, upper teeth, lower teeth. Like you need both of them to make the secret sauce. And it's like, if you like Motown or music, you're like, okay, well, if all these racial identity politics rooms are so toxic because they're not spiritual and they're essentially just political. But then when you listen to the music, yeah.
It's all, yes, there are a bunch of brain damage language monkeys. There may be individuals in there, though, who are rescuable. But, yeah, it's just nothing but pathology. Any room that's got more than 20 people on stage at the same time is toxic.
Yeah. Okay, well, God bless and have a great night. It's been fun to help. Thank you for helping me clarify my my thoughts, and God bless you as always. Take care.
Yeah. Enjoy. Good night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.